Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Justin.
Humphrey's back.
He's coming back.
Back again.
Christian Humphreys has committed to coming back to Kitchener.
Yeah.
He got here, it feels like just a few weeks ago.
You've said a few weeks about him a few times.
I know. That's what it feels like, though.
Yeah.
It really does feel like that. A few months ago.
Yeah.
And he committed, since last episode, to coming back, which was never really the plan.
I thought he was going to college next year, but
No, he said
I
that...
actually don't know how old he is, so maybe he's not even college age.
No, he is. He's
Yeah.
19. He
Oh,
was
okay.
playing with the University of Michigan.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he came here and he said that he got his confidence back here and he loves it here and that he loves playing for his brothers here and that he's staying.
So he's just OAing next year.
So we have, no, I think he'll still be 2006. I think he's a 2006
Oh, okay.
baby, I think.
Yeah.
So I think overagers this year were 2004.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. If I'm
No, I
wrong, he's then 2005, he will be one of the overagers. But
Cool.
I think he's 2006,
Great.
which would make sense, 19.
He's fit in so well with this team.
Absolutely.
I think he's a great addition. He'll only get better. Win, 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 win.
He, I think, would be on track to be like the leading scorer. So
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
doing awesome.
We'll talk about that in September.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of you that follow us on social media, you'll know that we are heavy in the GROATing, the GROAT vote.
Knee deep in the GROAT vote.
And we just have to give, first of all, we have to give a huge shout out to Ken Bourne.
Yes, Papa Bourne, who made the most incredible player cards.
They look so
And the bracket and everything.
Yeah,
but the player cards look so professional.
They literally look like hockey cards.
They do.
They're great.
I love them.
Me too. And they look, people seem to be really liking them. People seem to be liking the GROAT vote.
Look, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we've already let it slip a few times on social media that maybe there's too many GROATs for 32.
Yeah, 32.
And perhaps a top 100 Rangers of all time is in the distant future for the Odd Pod. But I think that the player cards themselves are so beautiful and perfect.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like we need to have 100 of them.
Dad, we're going to need some help.
Papa Bourne. Don't worry. We'll do 32 a year.
Yeah. And we can do them one at a time.
Yeah. You don't need to do them in one weekend.
Any of you, if you haven't got on the Instagram and got voting, get over there.
Get over there
because
now.
Today is Friday because we're releasing on Friday.
So it's the last day.
It's the last conference of the first round.
Exactly.
Monday we'll release the bracket. So you'll see who's going into round 2, who makes the top 16. And then Tuesday, the voting will start. We'll probably do 2 conferences a day. We're going to finish next week.
Yep.
So next week, done. We will know who the GROAT is. Not next Friday because we'll record before we know.
Yep.
But the following Friday, we will announce the GROAT on the podcast. Probably will have been done on Instagram ahead of time.
For sure.
TBD.
Yes.
But vote.
But
we need the votes.
And you can only vote for 24 hours. So it goes up in our story. So every morning it goes up, and then you only have 24 hours for the day of voting. And so there will be less matchups every single day now going forward. So get in there and tap away.
Welcome to the Odd Pod, where we're talking Kitchener Rangers hockey with the oddballs themselves, Andrew and Justin. Take it away, fellas.
We got 100 points.
We did on 100 points.
100 points.
For the 4th time
Yes.
in franchise history.
Correct. It's pretty remarkable. It's very remarkable.
Bubble team, rebuilding.
Yeah. Yeah. September, we sat here in this room and talked about the fact that we might not make the playoffs.
We were on the fence about whether or not they'd be a 500 hockey team.
Yes. That we'll bring that up later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were on the fence.
But we admittedly knew nothing. We knew nothing about the OHL. Like, we still know very little.
Very little. But we know a little bit more.
We know a little bit more, and we know a little bit more about the Kitchener Rangers now, and we know a lot about the 2024-2025 Kitchener Rangers.
Yes.
I will say that.
We almost know everything about them because that
Almost.
season's done.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We know almost everything except how their playoff run is
How
going
the
to
playoffs
go.
are going to go. But that's to start on Friday. Today, if you're listening on the day of recording.
Oh, I'm already a bit nervous. Excited nervous.
Nervous. We're going to talk about Flint coming up because that's who we're playing in the first round.
Flint Firebirds!
The Flint Firebirds!
I feel like you manifested this. Just so that you
the
could...
first GROAT day.
Just so that you could just get stuck in the dialect.
All right, we're going to play some Flint. But how did we get 100 points? We should start there with our game against Owen Sound on Friday night at home at the Odd for Overager night. Owen Sound and goalies, man.
Yeah.
We got Kaprowski again. He was unbelievable. It took 2 periods to beat him.
Yeah. He's good.
He's good. Does this give us any hope for Owen Sound's ability against London?
I think London is having the second best season in franchise history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it gives you hope that they might get a game off London.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I think Carter George can shut the door.
That's
for
what I mean. Yeah. But I mean, bigger upsets have happened.
For sure.
I'm not predicting that when we're getting ahead of ourselves, but in the prediction part, I'm not necessarily predicting that, but that would make everything better in the world. Yeah. Everything in the world would instantly be better if Owen Sound beat London.
Just goalied London.
Yep.
Yeah. Because their goalies are good. Anyways, back to our game. We had 16 shots in the first period. Could not beat Kaprowski. And then also Ando with the crushing hits in the first period. Unbelievable. Yes. And then Lennon Hookie, always good at hockey.
Good at hockey.
Yeah. He scored the first goal of the game. We took 24 shots before we got our first goal on Kaprowski, and then it got called back.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And then I think the next shot went in.
I was texting you during this game.
I know.
And I was like, you have to go because you weren't watching live.
I wasn't watching it.
You weren't watching live, and I was like, you're going to have to watch at very least this review because I felt like this was going to be like we're not going to get to 100 points tonight because everything is just going the wrong way.
It's just the sideways game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thankfully, that's not what happened.
No. And then, luckily, Humphreys.
Our
boy coming back.
Number 1 center.
Potential our guy candidate for next season.
Of course.
Put that out there.
Speaking of Overager night, that means our guy is leaving.
Our guy is gone.
He can't come back.
He will not be back. Yeah, it was sad watching those guys, do the walkout, do the I got a little teary.
Yeah, I got
really emotionally invested in these guys this season.
I went back and listened to a few of the earlier episodes, and I got a bit of a knot in my gut because I was like, we don't know what this is or who they are or whatever, and I was like, we're just blissfully unaware of how attached we're gonna get to these guys.
Although we were attached to Parsons even before we started this podcast.
We for sure were. Because, going back to last season, we were like, who is this guy? He's really good.
He's really good.
Yeah. We projected that. That was the one thing we did project.
Yeah. We could feel it in the air. And then the third period was when we really started to pick up steam. I didn't realize Swick was on a goal drought. He's played so well it's not like he's been on a points drought and it's not like he hasn't been helping, but I didn't realize he was on a 10-game goalless streak.
Because they're winning.
Yeah, they're winning.
It doesn't matter if you're on a drought,
and he looks
right?
good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean though, is if you're playing well and the puck's just not going in, it's not a storyline.
No.
And it's funny because we're going to talk about the over-unders and the bets and whatever. And we projected him for much more points. And obviously it's going to be the under for that. But it doesn't feel like it was a down season for him.
He just fit in with the team so well. He did what he needed to do.
Absolutely.
And that was it. He got a great goal. A Pridham sensed him. Yeah. Just threw the puck to him and he put it in. And then they reversed that goal where Swick threw Pridham the puck in the exact same way, sensed them in front of the net. It was the exact same goal, just the two players swapped places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think about this team that other teams don't have is that chemistry.
Yeah.
That awareness.
Yeah. The sensing.
Yeah.
And then Buoy.
No M. Silent.
It's a silent M. So you go Buoy.
Sam Buoy. No, it's not Sam Buoy. Sam Buoy was drafted before Michael Jordan. That's who I always think of when I hear Pierce Buoy's name.
Okay. Anyways, he tied it up, and then they did the fancy goal, and then Parsons just shut the door.
Pierce Buoy actually won the rookie scoring race.
Oh, did he?
He did, and he's a true 16-year-old. So this kid is probably going to be
he's legit.
Unbelievable. He already is, but
yeah, we've seen a hat trick against us with him. Like, he's pretty special.
Maybe not this year coming, but like 100 points in a season is coming for sure.
Yeah. Probably his draft year.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
I think that would be next year, wouldn't it?
Would it?
If he turns
17.
Depends on when he turns 18.
Yeah,
I don't have it in front of me.
Man, we are not good at math.
No, it's very hard. And it's just hard to swallow when you're like 2004, 2005, 2006. I'm like, I know what I was doing those years. They were little babies. I don't like this. Yeah. I'm old.
There are people in the league that I graduated high school before they were born.
Yeah.
So just don't think about it. Don't think about it. And you know what else we're not going to think about? The game against Guelph.
No,
because neither of us watched it.
We didn't do it.
We didn't even watch the highlights.
I'm so sorry, Rangers faithful. We cannot comment on it. No. It was the first time the team was shut out all year. I don't know if the odd gods were mad that we didn't watch it. They didn't play half the team. Half the team sat.
Yeah, we couldn't shut out the season series in 8 games. That's too many games.
You got to give them one.
So Guelph can have that one. There's nothing else that Guelph is playing for other than the bragging rights. So
the only notable thing was Avery Anstis got his first OHL game. That was it. Great. So I shout out to Avery Anstis, and
congrats, man.
I'm excited that he will be probably on the team next year.
Yeah, good.
It's great for him to get a little bit of experience.
So we're sorry for the nothing burger game that we didn't watch.
We didn't watch.
And then, so we're going to, because we only watched one game this week, we're not going to do 3 stars, but I have assembled the greatest star of the season.
The greatest star.
And it's to the whole team, the coaching staff, the management, the scouts, obviously the players. Like, they had a legendary season. They got 100 points.
Yeah.
4th time in 65 years of, however long they've been, 70 years of being a team.
63.
71? No.
85? 492.
They were the first
in 2025
on Noah's
years.
Ark, they had the Kitchener Rangers.
The Rangers have to be 2025 years old.
2025.
That's the number we're in.
That's why the years are this way.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable season. Just like looking back, we didn't get our first win till the 4th game of the season. Those first 3 games represent 20% of our losses this season.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
That's pretty incredible. After that 3-game losing streak to start the season, we didn't have another 3-game losing streak.
No.
We also went 15 games straight with a point.
Never lost 3 games in regulation in a row.
Nope. And that was like before Pridham and Humphreys showed up.
It was, yeah.
These guys, Swick was injured for part of that. He showed up a little bit later. The team is vastly different than it was at the beginning of this season. And just thinking about all the changes that have happened, we've talked about the juice being in mid-season form from game 1. Like, man, the coaching staff, unbelievable.
Which is, I could just quickly segue into that he has to be the odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year.
You would imagine. Like,
we're campaigning for the Juice to get Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
Vote Juice.
We got a lot of voting going on right now.
I know.
I don't know how you vote for the Juice, but I would, please.
We don't vote for the Juice.
Write your local counselor.
Someone votes for the Juice. I'm assuming the big boy journalists, or maybe someone with the league. I have no idea. Maybe it's the other coaches, because sometimes they do stuff like that.
That's cool.
That I don't know. We'd have to. Maybe we'll write
Somebody
our friend Mike Farwell on the OHL podcast, a different podcast, which you could listen to after.
Wait, there are other podcasts?
At least one.
Oh,
because that's the only other one I listen to.
Mike, we should write Mike and find out. How do we get the Juice nominated? We want to be on the campaign.
Oh, I think he's nominated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he might win it. To be honest, yeah, I think he should.
Yeah. So the coaching staff. Management, obviously, Mike McKenzie did like amazing things with this roster without trading away anything. Like he used the haul of Carson Rakoff very strategically.
I was going to say, is even crazier was he did trade like players away in the offseason for a rebuild and then just pivoted without trading any of those picks.
Yeah. So we're in good shape. Yeah. And obviously the scouts. I want to give a shout out to the scouts because a lot of this with the NCAA agreement, knowing who the good players were, some of these players obviously were scouted and looked at, and they had agreed to NCAA agreements, so they were probably just forgotten about a little bit. But like to have the foresight to draft and understand what might be coming.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy.
It's pretty amazing.
That's pretty crazy. The foresight to be like, in this year, I think there's a chance these guys are available to come play for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So knowing that, however, all of that came together, just first star for everybody.
And you know what? If it was just pure dumb luck for some of it, you know what? That's
a first star too.
The other, I was going to say, that's the thing is you just draft a good player no matter what his plans are, and you just hope that the universe aligns and he can come play. Like Jack Pridham out of the BCHL.
Yeah. So that was the season.
He was a great year. Adrian Misiljevic was the leading points getter.
Yeah,
and also the leading goal scorer, and of course, both our goalies performed very well. And Parsons finished the season with a .92 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against average, which is elite in junior hockey.
For sure. As we've seen, there have been many high-scoring games in the OHL this season.
Yeah.
10 to 15 goal games.
Yeah, like routinely 9 goals are scored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to have those numbers, unbelievable. 37 wins, 5 shutouts. That dude had a year.
We are going to preview our very first playoff matchup against the Flint Firebirds.
Firebirds.
Okay, so here's some stats I'm going to throw at you.
Okay.
We've played them 4 times this season.
We have, yes.
We've won 3 times. We've lost once in overtime.
Points in every game.
2 shootouts. We won overtime. So we only won 1 game in regulation.
Yep.
It was also a 3-2 win.
Yeah.
So 1 goal games every time we played them.
This is going to be a tight one.
And I think that is partly to do with our goalie matchup of Nathan Day versus Jackson Parsons.
Exactly.
Like, they each had a first, a second, and a third star in our 4 games.
Yep.
Nathan Day played 59 games this season.
Whew.
Jackson Parsons played 52, and that felt like so many games.
Yeah.
We've talked about, it's like, you could have maybe let him have the night off that night.
I know.
But no, Nathan Day played a ton of games, most in the OHL. 3.07 goals against average, 897 save percentage, like 59 games. That's pretty good.
The more games you play, the harder it is to keep those numbers high because occasionally you're going to get lit up. That's just like that's every goalie ever on earth, right? Yeah, he's definitely going to be a kid who's locked in to this playoff matchup. And if Flint has a chance, it's Nathan Day.
I agree.
And if Flint's a pretty good team, I think the issue for me looking at Flint is outside of Sam McHugh, there's not a lot of scoring depth to be had. In fact, when they acquired Sam McHugh, he immediately became their leading scorer.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a lot. Now the Rangers have been getting by with kind of a committee, but the difference is a lot of people are scoring for the Rangers.
We have a lot lot of scoring.
Yeah.
Where they're pretty top heavy in scoring.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
by top heavy, I mean Sam McHugh and Matthew Mania, who's their top assister.
Yeah.
Who's pretty good.
He's a sister?
A sister?
His brother?
Sam
My
McHugh's
sister?
a sister.
Who's a sister? A sister?
We're only children, so we don't have sisters. Yeah, so Sam McHugh, I mean, it was hard to find like interesting stats about Flint. They're a solid team.
No, they are. The problem is they're limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which is not how you want to go into the playoffs.
No. So it'll be interesting. Clattenburg takes a lot of penalties, but not as many as the league leading Matthew Andonovsky.
The Andalorian. Listen, he gets the job done.
Yeah.
All right.
He knows his job and he does it well.
He spends a lot of time on the ice.
He does.
And he spends a lot of time in the box.
Sometimes you got to sit.
You got to sit.
You got to rest
up. The great thing is we have an elite penalty kill.
Yes.
So they've had lots of practice. I don't think of Ando as an undisciplined player.
No.
I think that there's been moments where he has been undisciplined, but I think when push comes to shove, would I say he's undisciplined? I wouldn't say that at all. And that's not just me being a homer. That's just, I just think that a lot of those penalty minutes came from a misconduct here, a fight here. Like he's the leader. He's the leader. So he's out there and he stands up for guys, and that's just his game.
You know what? Nobody needs to stand up for the Andalorian because he stands up for himself.
Exactly. He'll fight 2 guys, actually.
He will.
Yeah.
That's Saginaw. So yeah, that's our matchup. We start Friday tonight if you listen on the day, and then there's a game Sunday. That we're going to that together.
We're going.
You're going Friday. I'm going to Sunday with you.
Yeah, we're all going. The whole family.
The whole family.
We're
2 kids.
Bringing the babies.
2 wives.
No
dogs.
2 kids. No dogs. No. No. Although I probably would bring my dogs if you could do that once a season. If there was a dog
night at the Odd.
Yeah. Yeah. Odd dogs.
Odd dog night.
Odd dogs. Let's make it happen.
That'd be great.
Sounds brilliant.
But Andrew.
Yes.
We're not the only playoff matchup happening.
No, there's a handful. There's a plethora.
A plethora of other playoff matchups?
And what we're going to do is we're going to do a very quick preview.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get your prediction.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give my prediction.
Yep.
And we'll just do the games, number of games and the winner.
Yeah, great.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So in the Eastern Conference, we'll stay far from home.
Who's them?
Yeah. Who day? We've got the first seed Brantford Bulldogs really turned it on to get that first seed.
They did.
They're playing the scrappy and ever ready for a good time North Bay Battalion, who fought their way in.
Yes.
So this isn't necessarily just a squash match here.
Yeah.
It's first seed Brantford, 8th seed North Bay. Who you got?
I got Brantford.
In how many games?
I think it's 5 games.
5 games?
Yeah. When you're talking about Flint not winning, Brantford's the opposite. They've been winning everything lately. So,
I agree.
I think you're right. The battalion will fight their way through 1 game, but...
Yeah, Nick Lardis has 73 goals.
Yes. He's very good.
I think the issue is there's nobody on North Bay with 73 goals. I think if you just mix in a 73-goal scorer, chances are you're going to get out of the first round. I agree. 5 games.
Okay.
I would give North Bay a game just because, like I said, they're scrappy. They're
scrappy. They're fun.
All right, moving on. Barrie Colts, number 2 seed, versus Niagara Ice Dogs, number 7 seed.
I'm calling this one a sweep.
I totally agree.
Niagara is a tire fire.
I give them absolutely no credit in this one whatsoever. Now, that might be bulletin board material because I think most people would predict a sweep here.
Yeah. So it could be an upset.
I don't think so.
So it's a sweep for Niagara.
It's a reverse sweep.
A reverse sweep.
They'll go down 3-0 and then win in 7.
Yeah.
No, I think Barrie's got too much firepower. I think Barrie underperformed maybe a little bit. I think people thought
got more to go.
Yeah, I think most people thought they'd probably be one of the top 2 seeds though.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll actually pummel Niagara.
Yeah.
All right, 3 seed Kingston, the Kingston Frontenacs versus the 6 seed Sudbury Wolves.
I'm going to go Sudbury in 7.
Wow, the first upset.
Yeah.
The first big upset. I like that take because I think Sudbury got some guys at the trade deadline and said, no, you know what, we're going to try and make a little run here for sure. I think Kingston, just what I saw against the Rangers, just too powerful of a team with too much firepower. I think that it will go 6 though.
6.
I think it will be a very
6 for Kingston for you.
Yeah.
7 for Sudbury for me.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very competitive 6 or 7 games, no matter what.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to be a squash match. 4 seed Oshawa Generals, 5 seed Brampton Steelheads. This is the premier matchup, I think, in the first round. Maybe in both conferences. This is, to me, just 2 really well-built teams.
I worry that Brampton has, severely underperformed, and there might be, some course correction. I'm going to go for the course correction in the playoffs. Brampton, 5 games.
Wow. So you think that they're just going to take
I think they're just
going
to show up and take them down.
Okay. I am going to say Oshawa in 7.
Okay.
Because I think that
it's going to be a slugfest.
I think this is going to be must watch of a first round matchup. I think that either of these teams that win could go into, say that there's not if Sudbury doesn't win and then they have to go and play Brantford, I think either of these teams could upset Brantford. Not that Brantford's not a powerhouse, just that both of these teams feel low at 4-5.
Yes.
It just feels strange.
Yeah, they're both in the wrong place.
Yeah, I would take both Oshawa and Brampton over Barrie.
Yeah.
Or Kingston.
I agree.
Brantford's the only team where I'd be like, that's a toss-up.
Yeah.
I think I like both of these teams. I think it's mostly because Brampton seems like maybe they're playing with their food, which is scary.
No, that's what I think.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, they're just going to show up and be like, we are playoff ready.
Yeah. I think Oshawa's just such a stacked, like, it's just such a well-built team. It's one of those teams where you're just like, every line goes.
Yeah.
And they just play like really responsible hockey. Okay, moving over to the west side.
Yeah.
All right. West side, best side. Western Conference.
Yeah.
We've got the first seed London Knights. Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Versus the 8th seed Owen Sound Attack.
I'm going London in 5 because I think Nathan Day is going to steal a game.
Yeah, I'm
hot take. Do the hot take.
Well, Nathan Day plays for Flint, so if he steals a game,
of course I don't mean that. I mean
Carter George.
Carter George.
Yes, I know. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, but you reset my brain a little bit there. I was like, wait, what?
No, we were just talking about Nathan Day. Carter George plays for Owen Sound, and he is very good.
Do the hot take just to troll them.
Come on.
Owen Sound in 7.
Yeah. Okay,
Owen Sound in 7. I will just pick against them the whole way.
That's how I lived with the Oilers last year.
The head says Knights in a sweep. The heart says Owen Sound in 7.
Love it.
Yeah, okay. So I'm on record now. All right. The number 2 seed, Fraudulent 2.
I roll.
Fraudulent 2. The division-winning 2 seed, Handed Out, Participation 2 seed.
Yeah.
Versus, the Windsor Spitfires versus the Sioux Greyhounds, 7 seed.
See, now, Windsor's had some ups and downs this season. It's like they've had some unbelievable games.
Yep.
We witnessed one of them.
Yeah.
But then they've also, just got beat, outright by teams that didn't deserve to beat them or shouldn't have beat them on paper.
Yeah. And the Kitchener Rangers looked much better than Windsor the last time they played at the Odd.
I agree. Windsor, I do think they're a good team. I think they'll win. I think it's going to be 6.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's going to go at least a couple games for...
Yeah, I'm picking Windsor, but I'm picking them in 7.
Okay.
I think the Sioux is one of these teams that they lose games that they are winning, that they're leading, like we saw that, but they also have a tendency to beat teams that are better than them.
Yeah.
Like they beat the Rangers. I remember earlier in the season when the Rangers were on that streak, the Sioux ended up beating them not shortly after that ended. And
we called it the Sneaky Pete's, but it was really the Sneaky Sioux.
And they actually turned it on later in the year. They're coming in on a winning streak. Because I just picked an upset, which probably isn't going to happen, I'm going to refrain from picking both the 8 seed and the 7 seed to win.
Yeah.
But if the Sioux 1 and 7, would I be totally surprised?
Yeah.
Not really. I just think that could happen. But I think Windsor's just too strong.
Yeah.
With Green Tree, especially, and Protest. The two they have 230 points together. It's nuts.
Insane. There was a potential for the Sioux to have to play a tiebreaker.
I know.
Game,
I didn't realize that was OHL rules. It was a play-in.
I was like, I wanted that to happen so bad.
It hasn't happened since 2002. We need to have this happen.
Yeah.
We need this to happen.
I really wanted it to happen. I didn't fully understand all the things that needed to happen to make it happen, but I was pulling for them regardless.
Yeah, that would be amazing television. Okay, we're going to skip that one.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to number 4, Saginaw versus 5, Erie.
I think Erie feels like they've been on a downward trend all season. They got a lot of behind the bench issues that have been going on.
Yeah. What if Matthew Schaefer comes back?
Is that a possibility?
That's definitely a possibility.
I think even Schaefer comes back, obviously that's a huge help.
Yeah.
But I think there is more going on than hockey in Erie.
I agree.
And
they've got little brother syndrome. We diagnosed them months ago.
Months ago. Get help. I think it's a sweep. I think Erie's out.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give them a game.
Okay.
I'll give them a game.
Okay.
I think it's 5. I think Saginaw is in the same boat as 4-5 in the East.
Yes.
I think they're seated much lower than most people would have anticipated, and They are the team that I think if you're London and if you're playing the 4 seed and there's no upsets and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the next round, I would be very nervous.
And you know what the other thing is? Even if Matthew Schaefer comes back, Zane Breck is better. And I think they're going to win that. They're going to win that matchup. So,
yeah, that's a good point. All right.
Cool. There's some book it.
There's some predictions. Obviously, the Rangers and Flint.
Yeah. We don't need to predict those. I don't want to predict our team.
We're not predicting our team.
No, I can't do it.
He can't do it.
I can't do it.
I'll predict it.
Oh, you're going to predict it.
I'm just going to predict that the Rangers win.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not nervous.
I would predict that the Rangers would win, but I don't want to predict games. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, man. We've talked about too many upsets.
Yeah, that's true. It's scary.
Okay, but we do have some bets to settle from.
We do.
Preseason bets.
Of course, we didn't wager anything.
We didn't. The first bet that we made was, so this is all Ranger specific.
Yes.
Team wins.
Yeah.
Over under 34.5, which feels laughable now.
It's hilarious.
I went Justin. I am Justin. Justin went over. Andrew went under.
Yeah.
Obviously over.
Way over.
Like 19
hilariously
and a half games over.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing.
Season for the ages. So I am going to predict that the Rangers don't win anything every year.
Yeah.
Every year, I'm going to predict that their season is going to be an under.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
The next one was great. The next one, your lines were incredible.
I should be a bookie, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you should start that up.
OHL bookie.
The odd bookie. So this is Jackson Parsons shutouts. You put the line at 4.5. He ended with 5.
Yes.
We both took the over,
yes.
So we got more specific.
We did.
Andrew took 6, and I took 7.
Why I remember that was I prices righted you.
Yeah. So you prices righted me.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you prices righted one.
yeah.
But we both won.
We both won.
And all the fans won.
Exactly.
And then the next one, a little less good on your lines.
Yeah.
Trent Swick over under 85.5 points. How many did he actually end up with?
61.
Yeah.
I was off on that one.
But you took the over, and I took the under.
And it was funny because I think we both said that he was going to get close to that. I think you said something like 83 points.
Yeah.
So
I felt like that
off.
number was good, but it wasn't.
He was a point-a-game player.
Yeah.
61 and 60.
Phenomenal.
But he did miss some time. He did.
Yeah. He came back injured from Vegas training
exactly.
camp.
Exactly. And he was on a little bit of a slump, like we talked about.
And the team changed so much after this.
Yeah.
The next one is Romano.
Yeah.
67.5 points. We assumed Romano was going to be the top line center.
Totally.
The whole season, which, he fit nicely into that second C role.
That felt like that.
And so it was all good. But how many did he actually get?
51.
51.
So he had 25 and 26 for 51.
That's pretty awesome.
Which is pretty good.
We both took the over.
Yeah.
And then we both went in the 80s. So we were like...
We just thought that Romano and Swick were going to...
be the guys.
We could never have predicted that they would have... Let me tell you right now, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20-goal scorers.
Yeah.
And then they'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more guys with double-digit goals.
Yeah, insane. So we would have never anticipated this.
Just not usually how hockey teams are built.
No, we are not.
Especially not junior.
And not good teams.
Yeah,
that this
exactly.
ended up being.
Yeah.
The next one, though, this one was bang on. So this was Reed, 55 points. How many points did he get, Andrew?
Cameron Reed got 54 points.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And he was right on pace to get 55.
Yeah. He didn't play the last game of the season.
Yes. And he probably would have got it because they probably would have scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew won because he got the under, and I took the over.
I Vegased you there. That's how Vegas does it. Somehow they know exactly, and they're like, yeah, just pick it.
The next one, we'll just remind everyone, but this was Antonino Pugliese getting some penalties, 75 penalty minutes. Obviously, he got scratched from the team early on because he was an overager and we ran out of slots.
He was released.
So we didn't get to hang out with Pug Life too much this season.
No, but you know what? Brief, but
yeah,
I'd rather have pugged and lost than to not pugged at all.
And he looks like he's doing great in his X-Men League.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy for him. And the final one was the number of Dircolos. that we were going to say per episode.
Yeah.
The line was at 3.5.
Yeah, I think it's under, but I don't think it's as far under as you would think it is.
No.
Because I went back and listened to some of those episodes, and some of those episodes we say it a lot.
A lot. But I do think it's probably closer to 2.5 to 3.
I agree.
Averaged out, because there were several episodes where we didn't talk about him at all. So,
I agree. Yeah.
Because he's morphed back. We thought he was going to be a top pairing with Ando, and then he ended up being
like a middle pairing,
middle or third pair. But he was a stay-at-home guy.
He was playing basically the second most minutes as a pairing because they played the 11-7 so much.
Yes.
And he was right in that mid two, or that like 3, 4, 5 out of those 7 defensemen any given night. He was playing either 3 or 4 minutes. Three or like third or fourth most minutes.
Also another plug for the Juice, just playing 11-7 and just like rocking the defense all the time.
Yeah,
just making it impossible for anybody to score against.
Which is great because then you have this like team that's like scoring from all angles.
Yeah.
Like it was just like everyone could score. No one had to be the guy.
Yes.
So it was just genuinely a brilliant season from the coaching staff.
It really was. Yeah, so that's the regular season complete. So playoffs start Friday tonight. If you're listening, thank you all for listening throughout the season. We're not going anywhere. We're here for playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to keep rolling through the playoffs. And
yeah, we'll be with you the whole way.
Yeah, for sure. So we're not going anywhere. We already thanked Ken Bourne, but just another shout out for those beautiful player cards and the brackets. And go vote on the GROAT. Get in the GROAT vote.
Vote on the GROAT.
We got to thank our prodigal producer, Liam.
The Phenom.
I got to thank the Kitchener Public Library for hosting us.
Yes. It's the home away from home.
Of course, you can find us on the socials.
Yes, at the Odd Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Go there now. Go to the Odd Podcast right now and vote for the GROAT. It's the last day of round 1. You got to do it. You have to do it.
Get in there.
Get in there and do it. We're also on YouTube where maybe you're watching this right now and you're like, yeah, I know, dude. Check us out, The Odd Podcast, Kitchener Rangers. Search it up. We're there. But we also have a link in the Instagram so you can get there as well.
Go to Instagram. That's the main point we want to get you to today.
Exactly.
Yeah, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Rangers Nation, for supporting us and supporting the Rangers. And just being genuinely awesome people to interact with online. We love it.
It's been awesome. Especially this week. We've been talking with so many people. It's awesome. And as always, for the playoffs, you can find us at...
Tonight, the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium.
See you at the Odd.